Steam right now. There's a lot of content being made for it on YouTube for the people who, well, for at least for somebody who I follow who mostly does Genshin Impact-esque games, Hoyo games, pretty much. And from what I've seen, it looks kind of like if Warframe was less for the players and more for the people who made the game. Like, it's beautiful, not to say that it isn't, but I've also seen some things where I'm like, oh, this is a bit of a grind. There's also Once Human that looks interesting, but again, I don't know what it is about these free-to-play games, but they don't really scratch the itch. I don't feel like I'm giving any credence to like what my thought process is. But I don't know, like the top 10 games right now give me no sense of like excitement whatsoever. And that's kind of where I've been with gaming for a bit, but definitely now, since I've actually built this PC for the purpose of playing games, I'm like, I have nothing. I mean, I have stuff to play, but like nothing that's like, oh, I'm gonna go home and play this. Like, I have nothing on my schedule. My wife is going to be mad at me because I have to play this game for the first 2 hours while I'm at home. And that's where I'm at with it. So Anthony, if you have a game for me, if you have information for me that will like give credence to the fact that there are games out there that I should be excited to come home and play, please enlighten me, because I have no idea what's going on. It all seems very boring.
So, unfortunately, I believe that there's a lot of credit to what Eric was saying. It's not just... So the market reflects reality. And the reality is, we humans, with our culture and our timings and the seasons, go through collective, like psychological phases. And this time of year, every year, people say, I feel like there's nothing to play. There's no good thing. I don't have that feeling that what you were describing. It's happening to me too. I don't have that feeling either. The only reason I was able to retort is because I actually have a list of games that I want to play and record content for that I know exists. And because that exists, it is a direct disproof of how I feel and when you expressed how I feel. And so they are there, but we are going through basically a mood. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a
vibe, if you will.
Yeah, it's a literal like time of season vibe. It's almost like sad, you know, during this winter when people get seasonal oppressive disorder or whatever it's called. That's like a similar thing that happens. I think it's a combination of like just being tired. And you go on trips, you see family, you see friends, you do random things that is out of your usual. And during that time, you completely forget about what you were looking forward to. You come back and you look for what to do, and there's just nothing to do, and you're just confused. And yeah, but like Once Human might be pretty cool. But there are some problems with it. For instance, if you don't play it right now with friends, you're probably not going to have a good time because the servers are probably dead.
So a little bit of V Rising syndrome. Got it.
And then, but they're supposed to have new seasons often, and they're supposed to fix some of the issues that people are having where it's like, where you were like restarting every season there. It's like you needed some permanence. But from what I've seen, it's a really fun game. And if the three of us had the right schedule and time to play it, I think we would have had a lot of fun. And we still could. We could literally have a great time probably playing it if all three of us are playing right now. But stars haven't aligned. And then the other game you were talking about, the First Descendant, that game is like you described, but it's almost like it's in a little bit of a beta. It doesn't care all about the lore, so you would hate it in that aspect.
I would hate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it might be good gameplay and fun for a little bit, but then you'd be like, okay, well,
I don't care.
I don't care anymore. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna yeet myself. Like, I feel like I did that with V Rising so fast because even now, I'm like waiting for that update that's gonna be like, hey, by the way, you people who are really in for a story, we got you. Slap you with a freaking like off the top, like here's a story from jump, like restart, play the entire story, and then also, boom, there's another area that you can go ahead and do a little bit more of a capstone. Goes into like where the final boss of V Rising actually came from, why he's such a badass, and what you have to do now to like take his place or whatever. And then you have an entire different like game system where you're like somebody holds the throne and everybody's coming for that person and anyway.
You remind me of something that I think we've talked about before, where it's like I would like a video game that released like my favorite show. Release a good amount for me to binge at first, for sure. And then at a good cadence, release more for me to binge and look forward to and want to just do.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of awesome, right? And I think
pretty awesome.
I think Ash has got it. We have the SGS's seasonal gamer slumps.
Oh, dang. The seasonal gamer slumps. The slumps, baby. I got the slumps.
No.
Oh, man. Before I pass my baton off to whoever it is who's going to take it, My Hero Academia ended last weekend.
Oh my god, I have so much to watch.
Yeah, the manga. Like, well, I mean, then it ended, Eric. No, I'm
just saying because Anthony is an anime only enjoyer.
That is not true.
My Hero.
That is not true. I'm not an anime only enjoyer. Breaker is one of the best freaking things I've ever read in my entire life. I read through at least all of Dragon Ball. I can't remember if I stopped at Dragon Ball. Okay.
No. I'm just saying for My Hero in particular, I don't know if you've read all the way up to the current.
No.
That's fine.
That's what I mean. Like, your source of truth for My Hero is probably the anime over the manga.
Yes.
Yeah. Watch the recent episodes, Anthony.
We think we have, because we thought we missed something, and we went and looked at the synopsis for each thing, and we're like, no, I'm pretty sure we saw that.
What's the last thing you saw?
Bro, I don't remember.
What was the last big thing that happened? What's the last big thing that happened?
I mean, I know there was the big town, and then I feel like something happened after the big town.
There's a very big thing that happened literally last episode. I'm just wondering where you are.
How long ago was it released?
Last week, dude.
Okay, I'm not caught up at all.
Okay.
Very far behind then.
Because like I was
about to say, Nat, do not drop this bomb on him. You can't drop this on him. Like, it would be the craziest drop ever. You'd kill everything.
I would feel really bad if I had dropped this. I'd be like, oh, you didn't know?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Oh man, sorry.
Oh
man. Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything else other than like I wish there was some other games to play. It's unfortunate that the slumps came for me right after I built this PC, and I'm coming out of this crunch period where I'm planning on doing a little bit of like brain recovery before I get back into the grind seat and like bust out these certificates. But that's my time. What do you guys got?
It's Eric's.
Anthony, do you want to go first, or do you want me to cover? Because I didn't get it last week.
That's what I was gonna say. It's Eric's turn because he didn't get it last week. I'm gonna say this, and then he's gonna talk. That one game is mid. Okay, go.
That one game is mid.
One game is mid. What one game?
Elden Ring. All right, Eric, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! So I've been doing a lot of Elden Ring.
Oh man!
So, I have really enjoyed Elden Ring. It is a Dark Souls game through and through. I think if you don't like Souls-likes, it is the epitome of Souls-like games. If you like Souls-like games, it's going to be very, very good. I am getting through a lot of the story. I think I've screwed up the story a lot because some weird text lines are coming out of characters that I care about, and I'm like, oh crap, I may have done some, I may have goofed, but it's been a lot of fun. I think the fights have been really interesting. I do think it is my favorite Souls-like game so far, but it has all the faults of a Souls game. I think it's very interesting. One of the things I wanted to talk about last time is that for all of the things that are amazing about Souls games, there are a lot of things that aren't amazing about Souls games. This game doesn't really do that much, if anything, to improve on the things that are bad about Souls games.
Why would it?
And all that it really does is take the good things about Souls games and turn them up to 11. And the problem with that is, if you are a person who doesn't like some of the things about the Souls-like games, or the Souls games in general, you're going to continue not to like them with this game because it doesn't do anything to help the bad parts of Souls.
Doesn't do anything differently.
Additionally, I think it highlights one of the ever-present issues of Souls games, and sometimes causes some weirdness, in the sense that this game has certain ways of pushing you towards solutions that are very light. It doesn't want to force you down a path. It wants you to kind of figure things out for yourself and find your path. And that is part of the quirky, fun experience of the game, is that when you finally have a solution laid in front of you, you solved it. You figured it out, unless you looked it up online. But if you stumble upon a solution, it was because of your own process. And whatever that process may be, you feel rewarded for that, except in the case where certain ghosts can cause interesting situations where the solution is given to you by random chance. And sometimes that feels okay. For example, you're fighting a boss, you're fighting him for an hour and a half, you're constantly tweaking, you're getting better at the boss fight, you feel the progression, you're summoning your ghosts, and you're fine. And then all of a sudden you luck out and your ghost does something insane, and you luck out and get a you stagger the enemy and you get a critical hit and you beat it. And you're like, that was really cool. Like, my ghost won me the battle, but I have been working so hard at this. I felt the tangible benefit. I felt like I was getting better and better at the fight. And then finally I lucked out and I felt good. And that feels fine. Honestly, I really don't have a problem with that part of the gameplay. Like, you lucked into that solution, but it doesn't feel bad. You had the effort, you put in the effort, and you got rewarded for it by random chance. And sometimes that happens. Awesome. Then there is a boss that you have to you end up having to beat at some point in the game, and it's a boss that is this huge flying monster. And at the point where you do this fight, you get one shot by this boss. By every attack. But Nat, listen to me. You go through and you've done all the quests, you're exploring the world, and you find this wonderful little girl sitting next to a wolf called Lutel. Lutel, however you want to pronounce your fucking name, I don't know. And she goes, "Let me join you." And you're like, "Perfect, join me. That sounds awesome." And she joins you, and you get this wonderful little ghost. And her ability is to sit wherever you summon her, and she shoots arrows. And then you walk into this boss fight, and you go, "Hey there," and you summon her,
Huh?
and then you dodge for 30 minutes, and she'll kill the boss. It's like guaranteed. You don't have to do anything, and it feels really weird sometimes when that happens.
Feels bad.
You mean boring?
It feels
Sounds
bad.
so boring.
And
sounds like bad game
and
design.
here's the thing, and I concede 100%. You're not wrong at all. There are cases where the ghosts are designed in such a way, and the bosses are designed in. And here's the thing, that particular boss, this boss that I'm talking about, which I won't spoil, but anybody who's played up to this point will know what I'm talking
Dude,
about.
it's
For
been
anybody
a
else,
month since it's been out. You can say the boss's name.
well, this isn't in the expansion. This is in the main game.
Oh.
Yeah. This is the.
I thought you were talking expansion. I was like, I was laughing.
There's
so hard 'cause I
there's
thought
a
you were
boss
talking-
there's a boss like this in the expansion too, but I'm specifically talking about a
Okay,
boss in
okay.
the original game.
Okay.
But when you get to this boss, he one-shots you with every ability. Unless you're a specific type of build, you get one shot at the time you fight this boss. And so essentially, to beat this boss without using a summon, you have to have
have to play
perfect
perfect.
dodges.
Yeah.
You have to play perfect, and that's intentional because this boss is essentially a god, right? And so playing perfect makes a lot of sense. Now it's a hard fight to play perfectly, and this particular boss fight, the way it's designed, is super punishing and super annoying to play through. You're gonna have to fight this boss maybe 80 to 100 times to master this fight, to be able to beat this boss, unless you have this particular summon. And then this particular summon makes it so this boss is doable in 5 to 10 times.
Because you just have to dodge enough
Yeah.
to get out the way. You just have to
And
find
so
those
the way
obstacles.
that this is designed is very interesting, because then you have to ask yourself, was the intent of the game design such that this summon was a requirement for this boss for normal players? Or was the intent of this boss to fight it a lot because it's this otherworldly being that's supposed to be insurmountable, right?
I think it's supposed to be both, man.
But that's agreed. Maybe that's the case, but that's interesting, right? And I think from Anthony, like how Anthony said it, you either have to have a boring fight or a super long grind, both of which can be boring in their own way depending on the player.
True.
And in reality, what you probably want is something in the middle, something where you grind for a reasonable amount of time, and then you beat the boss, rather than this in between. And here's the thing: not every boss is like that, in my opinion. Most bosses are not like that. Actually, I would argue, up so far as the bosses that I have fought in the game up to this point, most bosses, every boss except for this one, has not been like this. It's been, I figure the boss out, and then I beat the boss with skill. And that does not take an unreasonable amount of time. Until I got here. And then it was like, this boss is super punishing, likely because of its design.
You need to cheese it, or you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, and those types of fights are the ones that always are very interesting from a game design perspective from software.
Yeah.
And they have it in every game. This is not unique to Elden Ring,
Yeah.
which is why I'm like, I don't
Get it.
consider that good. And so if you consider that bad, it's like, okay, yeah. Like, if you didn't like that about the previous games, you're not going to like it about this game. It did not help this situation. It didn't fix that, right? And that's weird.
I don't think From Software has gotten any feedback to imply that they should do anything differently than what they've already been doing.
No, at 90% of the player base that loves Elden Ring is going to be like, dude, just get good
Just
and you'll
get
beat
good.
the boss.
Yeah, exactly. Like, put a pot on your head and take off all your fucking armor, dude. What the fuck are you doing?
And to be fair, you can do that with this boss. It just takes an absurd amount of time comparatively to the other bosses. And people will be like, oh, you haven't faced a lot of the hard bosses. I'm like, no. I've done a lot of the hard bosses. This is just a uniquely weird boss comparatively to every other boss up to this point. Like, Morgott, like all of these other bosses that are uniquely hard for most of the player base aren't designed like this boss, right? You learn their movement set, it turns into a rhythm game, you do the rhythms correctly, and you win said fight. This particular boss has a lot of rhythm sets, like just more than the average boss. It is more punishing because every single attack one-shots you at this point in the game, unless you're playing specific builds. And it's just weird. It's weird. That game design is weird, and I would consider it not good.
I am holding my breath for you to hit the Shadow of the Erdtree content, because the only feedback that I have ever heard from that game, and they may have patched it out at this point in time, so I might be wrong, but the first 2 bosses of Shadow of the Erdtree are literally that situation where like you have to play perfectly.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're gonna get cucked.
Yeah. And I'm going to be going into them blind. I'm about so I am by heart a completionist, so I'm like 60% complete with the base game.
Taking too long, Eric.
I am going to 100% that game.
Fine.
Like I have done every other Dark Souls game.
Fine.
Now, the only problem with that is that there's a lot of different pathways in Elden Ring, like comparatively to the other Dark Souls games, where there's only like 4 or 5 endings. Elden Ring has like a ton of different cases, but which is different. But I'm gonna complete the game. I'm gonna go to Shadow of the Erdtree, and then I'm gonna beat that.
And then close the chapter on that game, because it is the devil.
To be fair, even with that one boss fight, I will say I enjoy those types of games. And here's the thing, I love rhythm games. And I think the minute I think the minute you stop thinking about Dark Souls types games as a combat game and start thinking about them as a rhythm game, it gets more enjoyable.
I hard disagree, actually.
I hard disagree as well.
So I tried very hard several weeks ago to play, and I forgot about it when we were talking about what we'd played recently a few times ago, to play this, because it's like several other games where everyone loves it, and I'm like, okay, if everyone else loves it, I probably would love it too. And maybe I just need to be in the right mood. I don't know. But I tried really hard on multiple sessions, multiple days, different moods, and the best way I can describe it is, sure, you can call it a rhythm game if the rhythm game involves riding a bike with training wheels that are loose and uneven, so you're constantly going back and forth, bouncing between them, and you have to like get it just right. And it's actually broken, but you know, people are saying it's a rhythm game, and if you just get it right, you'll do it. And it's like, dude, I've played rhythm games, and when you play a rhythm game, they feel good and they're consistent and they're great. It's not a rhythm game. It is a game where they made something a long time ago, and maybe they were the first people to do something like this, and so people fell in love with it. And it's kind of like Pokemon, where because people already like it, they have no reason to change it, so they're getting away with bad mechanics, bad game design, bad stuff. The Dark Souls genre, all this stuff would be so incredibly enjoyable if their boss fights and their primary game mechanics were like a well-tuned motorcycle that is Monster Hunter. And then of course Monster Hunter has other problems, right? But like,
well, here's the thing.
Eric, let him finish.
No.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
want
Because I have things to say as well.
Okay.
Well, it's just it's slow, it's inconsistent, and it becomes boring and tedious. And it's like, if I want to get the perfectly right thing and complete a level, I'll go back and play Mario. Okay, like it's just weird to have that type of expectation of your players, and it's insanely time consuming. Like,
True.
That's fair.
You give the illusion of freedom of choice and movement, but not actually provide it. It's like
Pretty much.
you go into this big camp of things, and it's like, oh yeah, you can solve this however you want, but actually there's only really one way to do it unless you're already overpowered and stuff. Like, it's just I used to think it was me. I think it's actually not good, and I just happen to not have the nostalgia to make me think it's good.
I think there are a lot of things about it that are 10 out of 10 in my opinion, and I think there are a few things about it that are kind of archaic, like you're talking about, but
it's just the mechanics. They are jank. They do not feel fluid. It's like riding a broken bicycle with broken training wheels.
I disagree with that analogy a little bit, because I think
on the other end,
do
Sekiro
as well.
is great.
Sekiro's good, but I would argue that Sekiro and Dark Souls have different investiture into their movesets, right? I think the investment you have to make towards a move in Dark Souls compared to Sekiro is different, and so the risk reward that you have for different types of builds in Dark Souls, because here's the thing, Sekiro has one build that you do. Everybody that, like, there are no builds in Sekiro. There are just, you do this in Sekiro. But Elden Ring has thousands of builds that you can choose from that are all viable for beating every boss in the game. And people have showcased so many different ones. Like, if you look at what's his name's site for builds that are viable, you have so many different ways to solve and progress through the game that are totally different play styles.
And when you talk about that, like, I understand that that's really cool and interesting for different types of people, because you just remind me of like a racing team for Formula One, or going back to the motorcycle analogy. I love driving the motorcycle. I do not care about tuning it and doing all the mechanics and doing all that research and making sure that it can do this, this, and that. I'm like, if it can do what I want it to do, I am happy. If it can't do what I want it to do, I'm not. And so there are mechanics and tuners, and then there are drivers, and sometimes there's a mixture between people and sometimes there's not. Like, some people can do both, some people can't. And I'm never really cared too much about the tuning thing. I can make something look weird, like I can put it in a whole bunch of blue metallic paint and be like, look at my blue car. And I'll have fun doing that and picking like the rims or something stupid and unimportant. But like, you show me a big list of things like in Path of Exile to fine tune and choose between, and I'm like, I just want to drive. Why are you not letting me do that? And that's when games lose me.
And Sekiro is always going to be the better choice for you in that regard, because Sekiro is all of the good things from Dark Souls without all of the choice. You just get to experience a finely tuned build at its finest and experience these fights in that way. And here's the thing. The fights are more consistent in Sekiro, and they feel more oiled and clear because they were designed with only one build in mind, right? They didn't have to account for 1,000 possibilities. You can make something so much more streamlined when you only have to account for one. And so Sekiro gets all of the benefits from what you want as well, or from a ground up design standpoint, to be able to do that.
You make me think that in general, like, many different types of games, not just Elden Ring, would benefit from being able to tell the player, hey, this is the car setup you should choose if you don't want to mess with anything. If you just want to play the game, choose Barbarian and play through the whole game or whatever. You know, like you don't need a, you've got the on rails experience. They even have that in like League of Legends, right? Where you pick a build and you don't have to think about it, because there's a lot of people like that. And those people like me are capable of getting to the point where they can enjoy fine-tuning the thing, but first they have to play the game all the way through. It's kind of like when I'm playing a board game and you like to know the rules ahead of time. I have to play the game like without knowing the rules to learn the rules.
Same way.
And then and then on the second round through is when I can start tinkering.
Like
And
tinkering and doing stuff, yeah.
first time through, I just have to ride the bike.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And it is a perfect segue into my second game I've been playing a lot, which is Path of Exile.
Oh.
Did you get to build things?
Yes, I got to build things in Settlers of Kalgur, which it's, by the way, I think the most amazing thing about Path of Exile is that as a free game, it has like 15 different games inside of it that you can enjoy all separate, which is like a crazy feat in a lot of ways. How much content there is in Path of Exile is pretty astounding.
Don't forget that they're in the middle of making Path of Exile 2, yet they just released this huge
which
thing.
looks insane because there's going to be guns and all kinds of nonsense. Like Path of Exile 2 also, by the way, for anybody like Anthony who's like, I see the skill tree and I'm like, I just want to enjoy the game. Path of Exile 2 is trying to solve that as well and make it so that you don't have to worry about all that shit. You can just engage with the mechanics from a playing perspective much more easily, and all of this build stuff is kind of this secondary notion. And Path of Exile 2 looks like I haven't played it yet. I haven't played it in
I
the
remember
alpha,
looking
but
at it and
looks
having
like
that,
it's solving a lot of
seeing
this.
that too, and thinking that.
Yeah.
Because
I
have
that is definitely their goal.
I've wanted to play Path of Exile so much, especially with the new expansion. But yeah, I struggle.
Settlers of Kalgur, obviously it's a very long game. Because of our tournament like last week, a lot of my last week was put forward to like helping out with our tournament and stuff like that. So I haven't been able to get too far into it. I've only been able to do like 15 hours or so. And so I've only been able to interact with some of the new mechanics, but so far the new town looks amazing.
Well, so is that new town the town that you get to build?
Yeah. You essentially start from scratch. You add workers to it. They added gold to the game, which is crazy.
How much control do you have over the build? Is it like a preset situation, or do you actually get to customize it?
Think about it like it feels a lot like the old Bastion town building, in the sense where like there are little pockets and you can assign different things to the little pockets and areas that make it slightly different, but in essence you're just assigning workers. It's the same for everybody, but it's still an enjoyable interaction. But it is not it's not like a V-Rising builder experience.
Yeah, okay.
For sure. So it's like 50% of the way there. If you were looking for a builder, it's like half of the way there. But I think it adds a depth to Path of Exile that is kind of cool.
But before you keep going, did you know that in Once Human, you basically have Mario Maker?
Yeah.
I saw that. I don't know how much is in there, but like I saw like some videos.
You can design like your own levels for your friends to come and play and try and get the loot and
cool.
stuff.
I saw that.
I thought you would love that, Eric. Yeah.
That is one of the things I've been meaning to try out for Once Human, but obviously the last 2 weeks because of judo, 2 back-to-back judo tournaments has been kind of hectic. And that leads me to segue to my third and final game. Which Anthony will judge me a lot for. So will Nat, but this one. So because of how much just life stuff has been going on, I've been looking for something that kind of like a Rusty's Retirement that I can use as a clicker, that I can have on the side, that I can kind of, numbers go up and I can just relax and kind of do things here and there.
Say the game, Eric.
Do you know the game now?
So
Can you guess the game?
Yeah. Take a guess, Nat. If you actually, Anthony, take a guess because I think you don't know what it is either.
No, I don't. I've been trying, and for a second I thought Nat might have figured it out, and I was like, ooh, does he know? 'Cause I don't.
I don't know, but I have a feeling I'm going to be mad.
I started.
Not Blizzard, is it?
No, it is not Blizzard. I thought about that a lot, though.
He thought about it.
But honestly, that wasn't what I was looking for. Like, I have been thinking about whether or not I'm going to try the new WoW expansion and whether or not I should do the pre-patch. I haven't decided yet. But either way, I wanted something that was more relaxing than that I could play on the side, that really was just like a clicker that I could have on my side screen
say
and like, do
RuneScape.
stuff on the side. I have created an Iron Man old school RuneScape account.
I fucking got it.
Now,
Fucking
you
got
did
it.
get it. You did get it. So I have been
Holy
doing the
shit.
Iron Man old school RuneScape experience, which has been a nice little clicker that I've been keeping on my side monitor every now and then, and kind of just doing stuff on the side. That has been, honestly, there are a few things that I've learned since getting back into it that I wish every game would do. One is old school RuneScape has a crap ton of content now comparatively to the last time I tried it out in 2009 or whenever, 2008, whenever it was. But the one thing that is so cool that they've added is they have a in-game polling system where you get, as a player, get to vote on new mechanics, and you choose what they do in their next patches, and a super majority decides what goes in the game. Full stop, no questions asked. If a super majority votes for it, it gets in the game.
It's single player?
So Iron Man mode, they have a group Iron Man, but Iron Man mode is kind of a single player mode where you have to do everything yourself. So if you want to do baking, you can't just go buy the stuff, you have to get the stuff. If you want to do Slayer, you got to go farm and get the stuff to be able to do Slayer. And so what it essentially does is take out the, oh, I want to level this thing up, so I'm going to farm 20,000 gold and I'm going to buy 20,000 of this thing. You can't do that. You have to go figure out how to engage with all of the different pieces of the game that people stopped engaging with. And the reason I wanted to do that was because I'm not playing RuneScape to just skip pieces of the content and like do something. I just wanted something on the side that I could slowly engage with to kind of progress over time. And I don't really care if I finish it or if I stop playing or whatever. I just wanted something that was super relaxing on the side that I could have like while watching YouTube or whatnot. And to that end, it has been really cool interacting with some of the new mini games, like the rune crafting mini game or the new storyline, the quest lines, because one thing that RuneScape does better than every other MMO, full stop, is the quests. The quests are so engaging. They always have been, and they've added hundreds of quests since 2007 that are all very in-depth and all very engaging and interesting. And so it's been fun to just have that on the side and go through some of those as a side game to kind of just have something to interact with. Anthony was talking about Rusty's Retirement. I tried that out, and I think Rusty's Retirement is a great game.
It's a great
just not quite
concept
for
too.
me.
Well, it's a great concept, but it's
100%.
just like, it's one guy that first time and tiny. It's so small.
Yeah.
Like imagine
And,
a freaking brewmaster, like a distillery game, but that.
Yeah, like
something I would
the
love to make.
possibilities there are unbelievable. So like on one hand, I really liked Rusty's Retirement, but on another, I wanted something just a few steps further.
Yes.
For the same idea, and old school RuneScape just happened to scratch that niche. And of course, a friend of ours that me and Anthony know that we used to work with, David, he is an avid RuneScape enjoyer, and so he was talking about it a few months ago and kind of put it into my head. And then when I tried it out, I was like, you know what? This is really what I was looking for. A clicker side enjoyer thing for when I'm doing other activities
Bro.
type of deal.
So,
Two
good
things.
to know. Now I know who to kill.
Dude, two things. One, so no multiplayer means no multiplayer mechanics, but you still see other players in the world.
Yes. Yeah. So I see everybody. I can interact with everybody. You can even do raids and stuff like that too. You just can't take any of their items. They can't give you items. You can't do the trade, the auction house, or anything like that.
But you can talk to them.
Yes, you can talk to them, and you
Go
can
to
do
their house
group
and
quests
stuff.
together and
Oh,
go to their
interesting.
house. And you just don't get shared XP. You don't get, like, I can't kill something and then drop its item for you type of deal. Stuff
So,
like that.
and another interesting thing about this game mode that they mentioned at the very bottom is that if you don't like this game mode, you don't have to lose your progress. You can like transfer your character to the normal game,
Yeah.
which is really, really
And you
neat.
can do that for every option too. So for example, a lot of people start a hardcore Iron Man, see how far they can go without dying, and then just continue on the Iron Man. And then when they've done everything they wanted to do in Iron Man, they just transition it to a normal character. And now they have a normal character that they can trade with and do all kinds of stuff with.
And dude, so the other thing is that if you like this sort of thing, then someday you're gonna love Bitcraft, the game that I got into the alpha.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Yeah.
Bitcraft looks great. When it releases, I would love to try it out. It looks cool.
Yeah, it definitely has that, like, oh, it can be very engaging, or you can just go fishing while you're waiting for something to like reload or compile, and then completely forget about
Yeah.
the game for 30 minutes, and then, oh, I'm waiting on the computer to load. Okay, click a button.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that was so cool about trying out old school RuneScape again, is that there are some mini games and some things you can do that have different levels of AFK. But additionally, there was one. So my goal with old school RuneScape, I don't know if I'll get there. A guy showed off one of these new bosses, and they have a dozen different new in-game bosses. They have like 40 different in-game bosses. And he described it and showed off how you do it. And he was like, because of the mechanics, it's truly a rhythm game. He put it next to like Osu and showed them off. And essentially, for this in-game boss, you have to move around and click different squares around the boss in time with different things. So you have to like click prayer, click this prayer, close that menu, open your inventory, click this, click the new square. And all of it has to be in time with this internal clock. So people have like different music pieces that follow the old school RuneScape clock and stuff like that. And it really is fighting some of these in-game bosses. So I really just want to try out some of that stuff at the end, which is cool. But there are so many different things to do now that weren't there when we, like, me and Anthony initially played it in like middle school. But there are like a dozen new things and new interactions that are there that for any level of engagement that you want that were really cool. And I was like, this, you know what, I wanted something with some progression on it that I could do on the side that was relaxing, especially over the last 2 weeks where I was like so engaged with super active real life stuff where I was like,
You need to turn your brain off.
yeah, I wanted something that I could just like click and like enjoy.
Is it
on the
really
side.
old school RuneScape? Because there's like a completely separate website. Is it not like the new RuneScape, but with a...
So, to kind of explain for people who haven't kept up with the RuneScape or who didn't know RuneScape when it came out, RuneScape came out, and then around 2000 and I think 15, 16, it transitioned to RuneScape 2, and then it transitioned to RuneScape 3. At some point in time, they forced your character over to RuneScape 3. So if you were playing like WoW, for example, your live server character from 2007 that like we initially created isn't in old school RuneScape. It's in RuneScape 3. If you kept playing. Old school RuneScape is like WoW Classic. They recreated the old servers, But now they have totally diverged and kept developing new stuff for old school RuneScape, kind of like Seasons of Discovery or WoW Classic. Except that all the stuff that they put into these Seasons of Discovery for RuneScape were voted in by the super majority of the player base, because they have polls in system where you get to vote on the next things that they develop and release. And if they get 70% or more people voting for it, they'll do that feature for the next release. And so now, over the course of like 10 years that old school RuneScape has been in development, old school RuneScape has added totally new areas to the game that don't exist in RuneScape 3, totally new dungeons, new bosses, new raids, new mechanics, entirely new skills, all types of stuff that was voted in by the player base.
Biggest question though, is it pay to play?
So I played free to play for about 2.5 weeks
Of Iron Man?
There of Iron Man.
Okay.
And there's probably 1,500 hours worth of content for
Jesus
free to
Christ.
play. And however, if you pay to play, it's kind of weird. So pay to play unlocks like 250 quests. It unlocks like 16 different areas, and a bunch of other stuff. And so what it turns out to be is that if you pay the monthly subscription for pay to play, then, and it's just a monthly subscription, there isn't a pay to play like you can pay more than that and get more out of it. It just unlocks everything else in the game. However, you can do all of the skills that are free to play to 99. You can engage with all of their mechanics. You can do all of the different things that are there, and they don't cut you off at all for any of that. And then if you pay to play, you just unlock 8 times the content. So I think if you're pay to play, you have upwards of like 6,000 hours of content, for example.
That's insane.
And for free to play, you have like 1,500 hours. So the way that I would say people to engage in it, do free to play for like 3 to 4 weeks. And if you're like, I want to keep playing and doing stuff, and you enjoy that, pay to play just unlocks more cool stuff that you can do. And if you don't like it, you can either keep going with free to play in your free time, or you can say, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, you know, Nat, this might be the best game to challenge your new system graphically.
Haha. Ha.
But yeah, so those are my big 3 games. I haven't played anything else over the past few weeks. It's been a lot of Elden Ring, a lot of Path of Exile, and then a lot of old school RuneScape in my free time. So, and all 3 of them have been fun and interesting in their own rights, depending on my level of mood. Most of the Elden Ring was before my judo tournaments. Once I started really going hard on the judo tournaments, I was like, I need to turn my brain off. And so that's when old school RuneScape came into play. And then, of course, I played a lot of Path of Exile when I had a bunch of time. So, fun stuff. Anthony, take us away. Tie a bow on this guy.
Well,
you know,
due
Like,
to the
what have you been
seasonal
playing?
due to the seasonal gamer slumps, I have also considered playing World of Warcraft, but I did not.
Oh, good for you, man.
It sounds like Anthony and I are going to text each other, start playing, and then force
Maybe
Nat
be like,
Play
hey,
to play with us.
Do you wanna?
I mean,
No,
especially
it'd be like,
because
God.
aren't they doing like, I don't know if maybe it was Guild Wars. Someone's doing like
They're doing
housing.
the pre-patch right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so I also at one point was just wanting a weird style of game, and that's probably the only reason that I didn't have like a, oh my god, you're playing RuneScape. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Maybe that would work out.
Oh God. You're like, huh? Maybe.
Yeah, well, it's only because of like the unique experience of not just my some of my hobbies like game dev or 3D printing or whatever, you have to sit there and wait for the computer to do something sometimes, and then you're tempted to get up and leave, and if you do, maybe you don't come back. You know,
Yeah, you kind of miss out on stuff.
so like having a game like Rusty's Retirement or was it Bitcraft or maybe this RuneScape game, I don't know, where you can have it on a monitor and, oh, I'm bored, I'm waiting on this thing. Okay, I can click a few buttons. Are you done yet? Nope. Click a few buttons. Are you done yet? Oh, you're done. Okay, now I can continue with the project that I was working on. Because it's one of those weird things. People that don't experience that will be like, well, you could have just been doing other work while you waited on it. And it's like, no, because there's what's called spin up time and spin down time. And if you have to completely reorient your brain to be working on a completely different puzzle, you're just not in the it's literally like going from riding a bike to like driving a go-kart instead. They're okay, similar, but they're very different, like different mechanics, different controls and stuff like that. But yeah, I logged into V Rising at one point and found that my wife and I's castles were all like out of blood, which was horrifying. But because it was a dead
Horrifying.
because it was a dead PvE server / friendly PvE server, I guess, everything was still there. So
Friendly and dead.
friendly and dead. Yeah. Server merges, please. I played some more of that Played Up game that I might have told you guys about, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's very neat roguelike restaurant game, much more, what's the word, intricate and I want to say intelligent. Like there's more strategy than like Overcooked. Overcooked is just kind of silly, while Played Up is like, we can figure this out, and then you unlock other things because it's a roguelite.
A funny thing about Played Up, if you want to like compare it in difficulty, is that when I go to the page, it compares it to Spelunky 2.
Oh. Yeah.
It says, this is similar to Spelunky 2, which you love.
Which you love.
That's interesting. Yeah. Huh.
I'm like, yes, one of the hardest platformers to exist, you are similar to. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely been dealing with the SGSs because I actually took some time off last week, and so at one point I'm sitting here on the couch trying to kill some time, and I start trying to figure out what games to play on like the PS5, and I updated Diablo 4. I had downloaded Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, kicked that up for a moment. You know, I'm searching for something. I don't know what, but I'm trying to find something to play to scratch that itch, you know, and like nothing's quite hitting it. Honestly, the weird thing about it is that the game I'm most attracted to right now is a game that a lot of people struggle to want to play it because there's no tangible progress. And it's like during the SGSs, it's not really progress that it seems like anyone wants. It's just a good ride, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh man, what about some Sea of Thieves? Like, I want to go ride on that boat and take over that really big boat and see what happens. You know, I don't care about the result. But I did that briefly by myself, and I'm not going to do it unless I have like a group. So
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's the same thing for me, man, too, with the SGS. It's like, I so badly want a game that I can go and heal in, like a WoW raid or a WoW group that isn't WoW. And there is nothing on the market that comes close. And that depresses me to no end.
yeah, it's weird. But like, I think there are those games. It's just we're blind right now.
Yeah, entirely. So,
Maybe it's the SGBS, Seasonal Gamer Blind Slump,
SGBS.
because we're blinded. We don't. There are games, like
Yeah,
Final
oh,
Fantasy is
100%.
supposed to be really good and stuff like that. And
Yeah. And it is very good, actually. Yeah. There's the new expansion that came out that I haven't played, but every now and then.
You know what it really is? It's like
What is it?
It's like a deep down evolutionary, like instinctual knowingness that winter is coming and you better be ready.
So
I
your
think-
body artificially drops you. Is like, no, you don't want to
like-
be.
Don't be goofing
Perfect for
around right
this.
now. You need to be making sure that everything's good to go. It's getting colder.
You need to reflect.
Sounds entirely fair.
Yeah. But actually,
Um,
the first time that I went to play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I had like just been watching Dragon Ball Super or something like that. I think Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is best enjoyed by at least me when I'm ready to rewatch the show, and I might be getting close to that because it really is like watching the show one for one while playing it, as far as I've seen.
Yeah.
I could be
And
wrong.
the show is so good.
Yeah. Isn't there new stuff? Is there new stuff? I was trying to find out the
Just
other day. Is there a
just
new
the
movie? There's a new movie?
There's
a new movie.
there's new stuff in the manga, but not new stuff in the show.
Isn't there supposed to be new stuff in the show soon?
Is there?
They've been on and off about whether or not they're gonna do another season of Super, and they just haven't
They just
done it
posted
yet.
there, too.
Is the
Yeah.
new movie
Yeah.
after Super?
It's the so
Chronologically?
it's inside of the Super manga. It's just after the universe tournament.
So it is after the season finale.
Yeah. The movie is after the season finale. It's when they bring it's the new Broly movie where they bring Broly truly in to the universe. It's not.
Sorry.
It's a canon.
So it's a
event.
second
Are you
Broly
sure?
movie.
Because there's
Yes, but the first one
second
is
new
not
one.
canon. No. No,
the
no,
first
no.
one where so the first one is whenever Brawly first shows up in his new version within the universe of
With Super Saiyan Blue.
like his new coat,
With
right?
Super Saiyan Blue.
Super Saiyan Blue and everything, and like he shows up, puts everybody in a fucking hurt locker until they are like, oh, let's go ahead and like actually figure out how to do this fusion dance,
Mm-hmm.
and then they put it to task.
That
There's
one's
a
not
movie
canon.
After that, that's not canon.
Eric.
What do you're talking about the old? You're talking about the
There
old
are.
movie.
We are asking. Is
No.
there's 3 Brawly movies now?
There's Dragon Ball Super. There's Dragon Ball
There's a
Broly,
Dragon Ball
or
Z
something
Brawly.
like that. There's a Dragon Ball Z
Yes.
Brawly. That's
not
that was
canon.
from before. That's not canon.
Yeah.
There's a Dragon Ball Super
And then
Brawly.
there's a Dragon Ball Super Brawly.
Yes.
That is canon.
Yes.
And now there's a new Dragon Ball Super Brawly.
no.
You're saying there are two Super.
So then what is this
okay,
new
then there's
movie about? Because that's an
there's
old
been another
movie.
There's been
Yeah.
another movie called
with Gohan.
Super Hero with Gohan.
Yeah, with
Thank
Gohan
you.
and Piccolo.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Y'all started talking about Broly. I was like, there's no
talked about
Broly. in the movie.
Broly! That was
Because that's-
you!
Because that's the one that everybody knows of. That's right after the Super season finale.
Oh my god. Dragon Ball Super Hero Super Duper came out in 2022?
Yeah.
What?
Superhero came out in 2022, but it uses a weird 3D animation style. A lot of people are meh about it. It isn't in the manga, so it's technically non-canon, but it was written by Akira Toriyama, so
That makes it
it's-
canon.
So it's canon, non-canon. Comparatively, a lot of people put it in a weird spot. It's a weird movie with a weird animation style that doesn't quite have a manga backing, but it's not bad.
It's definitely not bad. It's got good ratings in IMDb, which is hard to do.
It's It's not
I'm
bad.
gonna watch this.
It's just it's in a weird spot, but you definitely should watch it.
Why is it like
But
coming? Why is it just now coming to the States or something? Because I feel like something changed and it became on topic, yet it's 2 years old.
No, they've had a sub for it for a while. The one that's coming to the States that everybody's hyped for is the Haikyuu one. The dumpster battle is going to be
That's already
released. Is it out in the? I know it's out in Japan.
The States.
Did it come out in the States too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm excited.
I haven't
for it.
either.
You'll don't have to confirm or deny this, but I saw something, I don't know where, maybe Reddit, and I saw them comparing, like, what is it, Ultra Instinct versus Ultra Ego? And
Yeah.
that sounds like probably canon and awesome.
Well, that's from the manga. That is canon.
Ultra Ego.
Is Ego
Yeah.
Vegeta?
That,
Yeah,
of course,
Ego
yeah.
is Vegeta.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Vegeta starts like actually being a contender.
And then the one that Anthony is going to be most excited for
Gohan.
is
Gohan.
one
Gohan.
is
Gohan.
Yep, Gohan.
Man,
Or
they
was
should-
is there a name for it, or
There is
Is
a
that too
name.
spoilery?
Do you want me to spoil it?
just say it because
is
I'm
it?
gonna have to
Should
look
I go
up
read
later
it? I
anyway.
should go read it. What should I read it
Ultra
on?
Spirit or some
Please.
shit?
This is the barrier of entry for me all the time. Sometimes I download a bunch of
Oh.
manga things and some of them suck. Is there something
So-
on my phone?
Kenmei. No, it's not something on your phone.
Yeah. Well, there is stuff on your phone, but
Isn't
you
there
have to download it from GitHub, and then
Yeah.
you have to hook it up to a reader.
No.
But
Not
yes,
Shonen
you
Jump.
have-
Not Shonen Jump.
if you want to buy it, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a real job.
If you want to do it the correct way and buy it, then yes, I think Shonen Jump is the legal way to do it.
And that would be the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, Gohan. All of them have their new form, and you have Ego, you have Ego, Instinct, and then Gohan's
Ethos?
form.
Ethos? What?
No, it's.
Id? Ultra Id?
Do you want me to spoil it or not? And what do we want?
I'm gonna look it up.
I can mute y'all.
Nat's about to
Hold up
spoil
your
it. He's
finger.
looking-
I can't hear you. Hi.
And that's canon.
That is canon. Yes,
Oh,
that is
man.
canon.
Do I even have an account? I'm gonna be reading this. I'm finally gonna get back into reading manga.
You should also
Yeah.
read Dandadan
Slow down, Nat.
Dandadan is good.
and Kaiju number
Wait
8.
until I'm done before you say stuff like that. If you overwhelm me, it's not gonna happen.
Kagurabachi.
Not
Oh
gonna.
my gosh.
Dude, actually scratch everything. Read
I'm
read
deafening
Dragon Ball
again?
Z.
Okay, I can't hear you. Sorry,
like-
I can hear you again now.
Read Dragon Ball Z, but like, if you can fit it, Kagurabachi is like the next My Hero Academia in terms of popularity.
Look, the thing
It's
is,
like,
I read Breaker and then I never needed to read another manga again.
I mean, the Breaker
this is
so good.
this is close.
Have you caught up on the Breaker, by the way, Anthony, for season 3?
There's a new Breaker that came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
Yeah,
die.
it's back.
I gotta leave.
Oh man.
Y'all have no
Well,
idea.
die.
There were years in which
I
I
know.
would, because Eric and I used to be roommates, and so Breaker would come up more often when we were roommates because sometimes, not even sometimes, to this day, when I like am walking around gently, I'll like do like ankle technique or foot technique, right? Because it's like, oh, I was about to trip or something, and I just like did a little tiny little awesomeness with my leg, and I think about Breaker. And so when we lived together, I'd be like, dude, is there a new Breaker out? And he'd be like, no. Like forever.
But they finished season 1 of the 3rd series in the Breaker, and season 2 is supposed to release sometime this year.
All right, well, I'm gonna just start rereading it completely.
Dandadan,
It's so good.
Kagurabachi, Dragon Ball Z, and the Breaker.
Get him in.
Just those five. Those five. Is it 5? Did I
Yeah.
can't count.
Well, I guess with that,
I don't have anything else. I don't have anything else.
yeah. And I'm like so hungry.
Oh my god.
So I'm gonna go get some food.
You guys
With that,
enjoy your dinner.
yes, sir. Wonderful show. We will see you in the next one. For any Twitch and YouTube people, like, subscribe, do all the stuff for the channels. We'll be here every Monday from 7 to 9:30, and we'll catch you in the next one, guys.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
I didn't know if we were hanging up.
I know. I almost clicked the hang up
I'm
button,
still
too.
live, by the
I
way.
always do it.
Oh yeah, you're still live. But with that said, I'm gonna go eat. I got like a few minutes before the thing. I'm so hungry.
Shower and then go to bed because
Yeah.
it has been a long day.
I need like
have
a
fun with the rest of your stream,
yeah.
Anthony.
I need like a green room
Enjoy,
button.
friend.
Yeah.
I really do.
See you
I really
guys.
do.
Okay. I'll catch y'all
Later,
later.
nerds.
Peace, y'all.
Bye. All right, now the question is, if am I still staying on? I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. What time is it? Almost 9:30. Let me. Wait. Okay, so apparently at one point the it looks like at one point YouTube came back. YouTube's been really weird. It would just like tell me that everything's okay and then not okay. Or it wouldn't even tell me that everything's not okay, it just wouldn't be okay. Yeah, what do we have here? YouTube is at like I saw it 2 seconds ago. Now it's gone. Stream health, analytics. It told me like how long the stream was going on for. Like it was like an hour and 5 minutes, which is 20 minutes shorter than OBS thinks it should be. Oh, there it is. Yeah. It's like, well, we've been live for an hour and 5 minutes. No, I don't know what's wrong with you, but it's been way longer than that. Let's see here. So usually the goal is going to be to do this until like, well, do this for 4 hours total. We're at 2 hours and 50. We're almost at 3 hours. So maybe we can just do it for 3 hours this time. We shall see. We shall see. That's a wrap. But yeah, I guess normally I would probably just switch to like game dev, maybe? There was one thing that I was curious about that I could look at right now. I had a new idea for the game that Ash and I were working on Bwix, our game called Bwix. I just need to reorient everything. Though I suppose in the future it would be a really good idea to take a break. I don't know how often you should take a break and like move around, but sitting down for 4 hours straight is probably the limit, if not just a bad idea. Oh no, everything's in the wrong spot. I'm trying to get used to this Windows 11 like I guess snapping thing. I don't even know. But I need to be able to see this over here and do that. Sure. No, I don't want those over here. I just set those up. Why would I pull those? Okay. Close this, close that. I don't know what that is. Open GitHub. Let's see. There we go. Let's pull the changes. There's 3 changes. Oh god. Why do I have 30 changes? Oh, it's the export. Oh man, do I have fixes in here? Oh no. We definitely want to ignore export, do we not? Why would it not ignore export by default? What changed here? Nothing that we can know. These, I think, were important changes. Apple Touch icon. What? Oh, I guess we should change to software and games. Wait. It says software and games. No, it says talk shows and Jesus, what is wrong with this thing? Software and game development. Okay. So, what were we doing? We're checking what the changes were. That's actually going to be the same exact change for the other one. Testing enabled. Easy. Yeah, gotta remove those. yeah, these are definitely important changes that fix the game. So, fix game for export / itch.io publication. I don't know if that's the right word, but we're gonna go with that. Okay. Now we can go ahead and have a merge conflict. Over under on having a merge. Wait, no merge conflict? Oh, that's surprising. So they definitely changed the same files. Okay, now we'll do a push and find out if everything's broken. Yeah. Now we wait. No, we wait. Turn the music back on. There we go. Actually, I want something else. That's a little too upbeat. Where are we? What is this? This seems interesting. Wait, no, that's a different artist? What are you doing? I swear, they have made Spotify better in some ways and so much worse in others. Like, what am I even looking at right now? I literally asked you to show me the albums. Like, what? Why is this so hard? Honestly. Honestly. This is the album I wanted, but it was, yeah, there we go. That's better. Okay. So it's in player. There's way too many things open here, though. All right. What is that? Cooldown circle. Oh yeah. Player to do. Oh, that's a different to do. We should probably double check and make sure things run. Yay, it's working. That's a weird little line right there. Huh, wonder what that's about. Why can't I, like, escape to exit? That's weird. Alright, so I had an idea for a new transmutation that so far I'm just calling it follow ball. Basically the idea was, of course, if we're watching the computer play the game, they follow the ball automatically, right? And so the idea is you use the, like, I don't know what to call it. Follow ball is a horribly boring name, but okay, now the music's too loud. Actually, that's better. Anyways, so like follow ball will follow the ball, and then you will have more time to try to get off a combo or something hopefully without missing the ball. But at the same time, you know, if you're not fast enough, as you can see, the computer does not keep up with the ball very well. So then would you want to have like speed up plus follow ball, and then you can execute like a combo move or something like that? So that makes me think that we also want like function for like fast paddle or faster paddle. Yeah, faster paddle, maybe not just fast paddle. would we want fast paddle or faster paddle? So faster paddle is like you incrementally make your paddle faster, and the other player could incrementally make your paddle slower, versus making your paddle just like temporarily fast. That sounds a bit more interesting, kind of like stretch and shrink, where you can make yourself stronger and or make them weaker. So like slower paddle, right? And this is actually going to be like really easy to implement because we have player speed right here. Let's go ahead and open Visual Studio Code because I'm about to try to use Vim and not have Vim, which makes everything terrible. What is that? Oh, did it just do like a weird hover over thing? Okay, it did. That was strange. Anyways, so where are we? Brick spawn, ball, transmutations. Oh, so we just close everything, go to player. Okay. So save. There we go. Right, so player speed, velocity. Wait, does player speed change? Player speed is like the default, right? Where's like the player speed scaler? Does player speed not go up and down? Have we not implemented that at all? I guess not. Huh. Well, that's interesting. It's capitalized kind of like it's a constant, which is about to not be the case. But let's not worry about that for now. All right. So faster paddle. Let's say maybe you get 10% faster. So like player speed equals, do we want 10% faster or plus 10? So that has like, or plus 20. Because if we had like a fast game mode, I don't know if we'd want to do that. We should definitely have like a, let's see, player speed factor. No, it's not. It's like a scale factor, right? Just I don't know what a good name for this is without making it insanely long. I'm just gonna call it player speed factor for right now, and I guess we can set it to 20. Part of me wants to make it 10% of player speed in case we wanted to lower player speed overall. Does that make any sense? I'm not sure. Oh, Ash is going to bed. Okay, well, I might get off here soon. Let's see. Let's just leave it like that for now, so that we can just like implement something rather than overthinking it. So plus player speed factor, and then slower paddle is of course minus player speed factor, and then follow ball is going to be a bit more complicated, of course, so we might save that for another time. Launch my ball. Why am I staring at that? I guess it's just because this is being printed, which is totally unnecessary at this point, right? So extra print statements. Alrighty, so that should work, but then we need to add it as a transmutation. So let's go ahead and open those. I don't know if I've changed this on my other... I can't open files with Control P. I'm used to doing that, so it's just not working. Ah, transmutations. There they are. Okay. Right. So now we need a new transmutation right here. Let's copy both of these. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so we've got faster. I hate when they do that. Okay. Slower. Well, I should have. Faster. What is that song? Faster, slower, stronger. Alright. So we've got all those now. Let's just follow the shrink. Isn't that the best advice? Always follow the shrink. Okay. So let's pick a new pattern for this. Alright, so you want to go faster. So left, right, left, right. Let's make this one like a little bit. Well, part of me wants to make it longer than 4 inputs, but our UX is not going to support that right now. Ah, hit F5 in the wrong place. Yeah, because right now you can only do 4, but it would be really cool to have like. I wonder if I could make. I wonder if 5. Well. I want 5. I want like left, right, up. Well. That would require a lot of changes right now. We could always just see what happens, honestly. Let's see. Oh, this is the best song right here. Okay, shrink, where are you? Follow the shrink. If testing enabled. Oh, sure, yeah. Ah. Alright, Shrink, where are you? Besides making an insane number of comments that are irrelevant. Oh, is that all of it? Is that really all it takes? I don't think that's all it takes. I think I have to put it somewhere else. It's not just gonna show up, right? Oh, it did. Oh, yeah, so you can't see them over there. But it's... Oh, right. Oh, there's a bug. Uh-oh. So what happened here? Oh. What? Did I not save the file? Oh, it's faster paddle. Whoops. I know what I did wrong. Okay, the method is actually supposed to be the actual method as defined on player, which honestly we don't need to put paddle there. Like what else on the player can be faster? The ball has its own mechanics for that. That's another good one though, like faster ball, slower ball, potentially. Be another easy one to add. See whether or not it's good. Okay, but now, oops, I keep hitting F5 on the wrong place. I wonder, I could probably set that up to work. Okay, so left, right, up on me. Oh, right. There's of course a cooldown. Are we going faster? Are we going faster? Or are you going slower? Oh yeah, I think we're going faster. See, I really like the left, right input because it's just fun. I think I just made them faster than slower. Whoops. Yeah. Pretty sure we're faster. Obviously, I could be doing some actual debugging instead of just like testing it or like trying to feel it, but no, we're going way faster now. Okay. And so combining like faster plus oh god, that was terrible. Apparently we need a stretch. Oh, we need a limit. Don't we? Do we need a limit? If you don't have a limit. Oh, and they might be making me slower intermittently, huh? Yeah, if we don't have a limit, that would be... Would that be bad? Just go like insanely fast. It's not like it would... I mean, it could break something, but it might not. Interesting. But yeah, this Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, there's like a mechanic, or not a mechanic, but a bug where the ball just goes way too fast. Okay. But yeah, so now the ball's going so fast, I can't do anything about it. That's kind of when having like a magnet option would be nice. Like if I could have magneted the ball right there, I'd be much happier. Ugh, that didn't work out. Oh god, we had a ball stuck there. Oh no. Well, can I just Alt F4 that? Yeah, okay. Well, that was quick and easy. So follow ball already exists for the NPC. Where is that? It has to be in here, right? Yeah, this must be it. I think I already fixed that. Fix the NPC not following the ball if it gets lost during multi-ball. I haven't seen... Shoot. I haven't seen that bug in a long time. I should have turned testing on. Where's the scene? Testing enabled. Shoot your ball. Well, there's definitely still a bug where the ball just doesn't exist anymore. But I'm not sure that can actually happen. Alright, well, I'm gonna work on this more maybe tomorrow morning. Depends on if I wake up in time to do this. But otherwise, if things work out, I might be back on Wednesday. The ideal... I can't remember my ideal schedule. I think it was like Mondays and Wednesdays from 6:30 to 10:30. I think it would be better if I could do like 6 to 10, because 10:30 is pretty late for me. And then Fridays, like an 8-hour on Fridays or something like that. But those are aspirations, so we will see what happens. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, and